So welcome. I am Kendra with KendraKWas.com, and I hope you're having a fabulous day today. So I am excited because tonight we're going to be digging into part 4 of my amazing love stream series called Mindset Traps and How to Overcome Them. So this is actually the last video of the series. So as you hop on, please say hi. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello down in the comments so that I can connect with you and this can be a conversation. And of course, if you are a replay viewer, you know the deal. Hashtag replay in the comments. So I know that you're here and I can come back and connect with you. So over the past 3 weeks, I have been doing live videos on mindset traps and how to overcome them. And I've been sharing with you the most common mindset traps that I find women in business and women in general are operating from and why it's holding you back. And then I'm also sharing with you how you can overcome them. Because here's the thing, you can be aware of something and you can know that it's there, but you may not understand how to actually move past the way that you're thinking or the way that you're feeling. You just don't know how to do it, right? And so I am here to share with you what they are and how to do that so that you can unleash the woman that you really are, so that you can show up in your life and in your business from a space of confidence, from a space of certainty, and just knowing and owning your skills and your abilities. And as I've said on all of these video trainings, that one of my core beliefs is that we function in alignment with how we are thinking. So if your thoughts and your emotions are not in sync with where you say consciously you want to go, then you're always going to have this tug of war happening within you, and it's going to cause you to be frustrated and to feel uncertain and to feel like things aren't working, and you're going to beat yourself up, right? And so my goal is to help you shift all this stuff, so that you can see a shift in your business, so that you can see a shift in the amount of clients that are coming into your business and the amount of money that you're making, so that you can see a shift in the impact and in the mission that you're here to create and move through. So we're going to dive right in. I've got one more mindset trap that I'm going to share with you, and then I have a really exciting announcement that I'm going to share with you at the very end. So you definitely want to stay to the end. You do not want to miss this. You're going to love it, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's move this along. So I've shared with you 6 mindset traps. So this is the 7th and final one. And so number 7 is self-doubt. Self-doubt. And I've been hinting about self-doubt all throughout this training, but I want to really dig into it and talk about it a little bit deeper right now. And there's a quote that I have here that I want to share with you. And I don't know who said it. It's not my quote, but it's one that I love and really sets the stage for this topic of self-doubt. And so the quote says, "Self-doubt is the anchor that keeps our ships from sailing." Self-doubt is the anchor that keeps our ships from sailing. And so if you think about this, you doubting yourself is anchoring you and holding you into place, and it's not allowing the biggest vision, your big visions, your big dreams to come to fruition. It's not allowing it to happen because you're tethered to this idea of doubting yourself. And so we're going to step into this, because here's what I find. When we doubt ourselves, what's really happening is that we're doubting our skills and our abilities. We're doubting that what we have within us is actually valuable for the people that we serve as an entrepreneur. Right? You could have gone to school and you could have gotten your degree, maybe a second degree. You may have some certifications. You can have all of these papers on your wall that say, yes, I am qualified. However, if you're doubting yourself, you're doubting that the time and energy that you spent in learning your craft, in learning about your business, in learning your modality, you're doubting all of that and saying that it's not good enough, right? So my goal tonight is to help you uncover ways to trust yourself more fully. Because one thing I know for sure is that as an entrepreneur, you've got to trust yourself. Because if you do not trust yourself, you are going to get pulled here, there, everywhere, and it's going to drive you nuts because you're going to feel like that you're not making any true or real progress, right? So the other fear that comes up is you're afraid of not doing it right? So then you doubt yourself because the thought is, well, what if I don't do it right? Right? You don't do Facebook Lives, or you don't go out there and talk about your business or your services because you're afraid that you're not going to speak right, or you're not going to convey your message right, or you're going to mess up somehow on video, or you're going to mess up the process. And so again, you're doubting yourself because you're afraid that you're not going to do it right. And here's something that I'm going to share with you right now that will hopefully take some pressure off your shoulders. And it's this core belief that I want to share with you, that you can't mess it up, right? Like, what if you truly believed that you couldn't mess it up, that you could not mess up your chances of being successful in your business or in your career, right? Say hello as you hop on. I want to know who is here. I can see some folks are with us, but I have no idea who you are. So say hi so I can connect with you. Let me know in the comments who you are, where you're from, or just say hi, okay? So, I talk a lot about, and I truly believe that when you are building a business, that it has to come from within. It has to come from your soul, right? And it's got to feel right for you. Hey, Jay, how are you? It's got to come from you, right? There are so many, let me just say this. There's this idea out there that there is like one way to build a business. And I completely think that is a total lie, because there is not just one way to build a business. If there was only one way to build a business, then everybody would build businesses and be successful. And so what I want you to understand is that you have got to build your business and show up in your life in a way that feels good for you. But if you're doubting yourself and you're not fully tuned in to your own guidance, then it's going to be hard for you to create that, because you're constantly going to be wavering back and forth with, well, is this right? Is that right? What if I make a mistake? Oh, I don't know. And so to really help center yourself, it's doing this work that I'm going to share with you here in a few moments. It's doing this work to really hone in and really cultivate a relationship with yourself so that you can trust yourself, so that you can be in an energy of certainty that what you are doing is the right thing to do, regardless of what the things outside of you look like, right? So I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to leave me a comment below. What would it look like if you fully 100% trusted yourself? What would your business look like? What would your life look like if you fully trusted yourself? Let me know in the comments right now what your business would look like and what your life would look like if you fully trusted yourself. And if you're a replay viewer, hey Constance, if you're watching the replay, I still want you to leave this comment because I will come back and I will take a look at it. But if you fully 100% trusted yourself, what would you be doing? Right? How would your business be growing? How would your life be shifting? So I'll look at your comments when I come back. So let's move on. So here's the other downside to this. When you are doubting yourself, a lot of times I hear women come to me and they're like, Kendra, I have this amazing idea for my business. I want to do X, Y, and Z, but for some reason I don't feel motivated. I keep procrastinating and it's not happening. Like, what do I do? So here's the thing that you've got to know about procrastination is that it's never about the procrastination. What's really happening and what you really got to look at is what's happening below the surface, beneath the surface. And typically what's happening beneath the surface when we procrastinate is that we're doubting ourselves. And so when you doubt yourself, that's going to show you the symptom of procrastination. So the next time you're procrastinating, ask yourself, where am I not believing in myself right now? Where am I doubting myself right now? What is it within me that I'm afraid is not going to work? Ask yourself those questions. And when you get clear on that, then you'll be able to take that action that would really help you move forward. So Jade says, if I fully trusted myself, my business would be so awesome. Yes, I wouldn't operate on fear. Absolutely. And so that is the foundation that we would then get to work from, right? Is if I fully trusted myself, my business would be so awesome. And so then you could take that further and really get specific and say, okay, well, what ways would my business be really awesome if I fully trusted myself, right? So fear is a whole nother, that's a whole nother conversation, but when we can start stepping into the energy and into the mindset of the woman that fully trusts herself, things begin to look different, right? So there's this exercise. I'm going to share this with you. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I'm going to share this with you. There's this one exercise that I love to do that really helps me in my time when I'm doubting myself or when I'm going to that next level, when I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, is I get really clear on what the version of myself at that next level would be thinking, feeling, and doing, right? So my biggest goal is to take my business to 6 figures and then multiple 6 figures, right? And then beyond. But right now I'm focused on, all right, 6 figures in my business, multiple 6 figures in my business. And so then what I get to do is I can sit back and be like, I don't know how it's going to happen, or I don't know, I'm really afraid, I'm really scared about that. But what I choose to do instead, and what I invite you to do, is think about, all right, if I was already that woman, if I was already creating 6 figures in my business, right? What would I be thinking, doing, and how would I be acting? So then when I get really clear on what that is, I can then begin practicing every single day to show up in that way. Right? So me doing this Facebook Live series this whole entire month around mindset traps and giving you tips and strategies on how to overcome them is what a woman who is creating multiple 6 figures and even 7 figures in her business would do. She would show up, she would share, and she would step into the confident, courageous energy that is already within all of us, right? So that is a great exercise that you can do to help yourself get really clear on the being, the feeling, and the action that would get to take place if you were already there, right? Some people call it future pacing. And it's a great way to take your future and kind of bring it into your present moment so you can show up in the most strongest way possible. Hello, we've got more viewers. Please say hi. Let me know that you're here and where you're tuning in from. All right, so there are several variables that are at play when we are doubting ourselves. And I'm going to give you the top 3. All right. The number one variable that's happening when you are doubting yourself is comparison. You are comparing yourself to other people. And we've all been guilty of that. Right? Like I have done it too, right? When I first started my business, I was looking at every other female entrepreneur and looking at what she was doing and thinking, oh my God, like she's got her stuff together. Like she knows what she's doing. She's clear on her message. She's showing up every day and I'm not doing that. So, right? And then that's where the doubt creeps in. And so if you view your life, if you look at your life and then you're looking at someone else's life, what you're doing is you're putting your life beside their life and you're checking off, okay, she's doing this, am I doing this? She's doing that, am I doing that? And then you look at your list and you're like, well, mine doesn't add up to what she's doing. That is a recipe for complete sabotage, right? Let me know if you've done that before. And there's no shame in the game of comparison, because I've done it too. If you've ever been stuck in that game or that mode of comparison, just type a yes below in the comments and let me know. Because you could be doing so well and doing well on your journey, but then you see someone else who may be on a similar journey and she may be 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. But then when you start comparing yourself, you drop back down and get stuck in this place, right? So for instance, there was, and I can't remember who the swimmer was, but it was an Olympic swimmer, and they were both swimming together, and one was there was one gentleman who was just ahead of the other, right? And he took his eyes off of his lane. He looked over to the next lane to see where the other swimmer, how close the other swimmer was coming to him. And when he looked, he lost time. And you know what happened? He lost the race because he took his eyes off of his lane. And when we do that, we are sending our energy over to something that cannot help us move forward. So Jay says, let's see. Yes, I've had to stop comparing and putting my blinders on. I learned a lot of times we see the middle/ending and not the beginning of their story. Exactly. I definitely compared myself. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so, and I can't remember the names of the swimmers to save my life. I can't remember, but I remember that story because it really it touched me. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's exactly what happens when we take our eye off of our ball, right? We lose time. We are shifting our energy and directing it towards something outside of us instead of directing it onto our journey, our mission, and our path. So yeah, putting on the blinders is great. Like I'm at the point now where I'm like, I do not pay attention to what other people are doing. Right? I don't. I have a few people that I follow and I support them and I encourage them. I'm like, yes, do your thing. But that's it. I'm not comparing or looking at what they're doing because everyone's experience is different. Everyone's level of expertise is different. And if you're just starting out, there's no way you can look at your beginning and compare that to somebody who's been doing it for 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years. They've become completely polished at it now, right? They've mastered it. So we've got to stay in our lane. And we can think, our minds do this amazing thing where it'll make us believe that the other person has it all together and they know exactly what they're doing. And here's the truth. They don't know what they're doing any more than you do, right? They're still on their journey. They're just further along, but they still have those moments too where they're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I need help. I've got to figure this out. We all go through that. And I can tell you, I've worked with so many coaches for my own growth who are multiple 6- and 7-figure businesswomen. And it blows my mind when I hear them repeating that to me that, yeah, like I have moments too where I got to stop and figure out what the heck am I doing? Where am I going? Right? They still have moments where they have to check in with themselves and figure out their next step. So it doesn't matter what part of your journey that you're on, you are still going to have those feelings come up where you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then it's your job to then go within, tap into yourself, your knowledge, and take the next best step for you, right? All right, so here's the second variable that's wrapped around self-doubt. And that is being attached to a particular outcome. Being attached to a particular outcome. So here's what I mean by that. When you are so fixated on something working out the way you think it should, you completely miss the opportunities that are there to serve you, right? So I'm going to take this to business. Let's say that you have a goal that you want to work with 5 clients this month, right? and you are so fixated on working with 5 clients this month in this in a particular program that you have, and that's your goal, but you're so attached to it that you're trying to control every single thing that has to do with that outcome. And so someone could come into your experience and say, hey, I'd love to work with you, but I would love to just do like a one-off session with you, or I would love to just maybe do some a la carte services with you. And you're not even aware of it. You're not even aware of this person that's raising their hand because you're so fixated on, it has to be this. It has to be the 5 clients in this program, right? It has to be this dollar amount. And I bring up money because we do that with money too in business, right? We all have our money goals in business, and we can get so fixated on that one money goal that we completely don't even realize the money that is flowing into us, right? And then we're not able to be grateful for that or to even celebrate that. And we end up just creating so much stress for ourselves. And so one of the things that I share with my clients is, yes, definitely have your goal. Definitely know what outcomes that you're moving to. But then release them. Don't try to white knuckle your outcomes and make it happen and control it, right? Give it some room to breathe and open yourself up to receive inspired ideas and new ways of doing things, and maybe receiving some help that you didn't realize that you needed, right? And I also look at this too, is when we are totally just focused on one way, we are tying the hands of God, right? So you may be praying, okay, God, or source, or universe, whatever word you like to use. All right, this is what I desire. You're praying for what you want, but in your mind, it has to be just like this. And you're literally just tying the hands of the universe, tying the hands of God, because he's like, well, I could help you receive this outcome through this avenue, but you can't see it right now because you're so fixated on it having to be this particular way. So how can you release that a little bit? How can you give yourself grace to say, okay, this is my outcome, and maybe it could be something better that comes along. I'm open to something better. This or something better, right? This or something better. That is a phrase that I learned from Gabby Bernstein in one of her books. I can't remember which one. But she was talking about when we have goals and outcomes, a way for us to really kind of loosen our grip on it a little bit is to yes, have the goal and have the outcome, but then have the mindset of, all right, this or something better. So that way we're not cutting ourselves off from receiving what could really help us, right? So if you do that, if you're guilty of that, let me know in the comments. Hey, Trish, because I'm telling you, that has been probably one of my biggest lessons I've had to learn, is to release the outcome, to show up, serve my community, serve my clients, have my goals here, but trust that I will receive exactly what is meant for me. And the big word here is trust. Can you trust the process? Right? I have a little index card on my desk to remind myself to enjoy the journey and trust the process, because I forget sometimes. And so I put that on my desk to remind myself when I get all hyped up about it's not happening and what's going on. Enjoy the process and trust the journey, Kendra. All right, so here's the third variable around self-doubt. And the third variable is that you feel like an imposter. Like, who hasn't, when I first launched my business, I knew and I had a vision for it, but I felt so underqualified. I was like, who am I kidding, right? Like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I can coach women, around, bettering their lives and building businesses and shifting their thought life and helping them reach their goals. Like, there's no way I could do that. I was feeling like I was an imposter. And it's so funny because I find that some of the most qualified, like we're all qualified to do what we are called to do. I deeply believe that. But I've come across so many women that when I see them and I look at their websites and I hear about their business, I'm like, yes, girl, yes, you are doing it. And then we get into conversation and they feel like that they're not enough, that they're not good enough, they're not qualified enough, they're not educated enough. And it blows my mind. And I want more than anything for women to know that if you have a calling or a passion for something, you're qualified for it, because you wouldn't have the desire to do the thing that you want to do in your business if you weren't qualified, right? You just wouldn't have it. Right? Like, I don't have any desire to teach art classes. I have no desire to do that, because I am not qualified to teach you how to create beautiful art. That's not my thing, right? So trust that what you're called to do in your business, you're called to it because you're qualified for it and you're more than enough. And so when you're in this imposter experience, what's happening is that you're not giving yourself permission to internalize your skills, your abilities, your education, your experiences. You're not giving yourself permission to internalize them. So I want you to think about that. Think about all of the ways that you've poured into yourself to get to where you are today. Think about all the education that you have acquired, whether it be through formal education in college, or whether it was a course or a seminar or a book or a certification. Think about all those ways that you have poured into yourself. And through that, you've developed experience and skills and abilities. If you've ever worked in a corporate job, right, you have gained some skills and abilities. And it's so funny how quickly we can forget that when we go into business for ourselves. We forget all the skills and abilities that we naturally have and that we've cultivated over time, right? You feel like, when something good happens or you have some success, you feel like, oh, that was just a fluke because such and such helped me. Or, no, it really, it was not as easy as it looked. Or we discount, right? Like, do you ever find yourself discounting compliments when you receive them? Right? Like, who is with me? Who is with me? You've discounted when people have given you compliments and you're like, no, I don't, that wasn't really me, or somebody helped me. So Jay says, oh my God, yes, I felt like that too. Underqualified. I needed to be on here today. Yes, you did, my love. Thank you for confirmation. You're so right. Yeah. And so you're so welcome. I'm glad that you're here too. And so it's really getting clear on, all right, what value have I cultivated within myself? So take some time and really think about all the things. I did this once. Here's what I did. So it's probably been 3 years ago. I was deep in this mess of, am I qualified to do this? Can I really help women? Can I really show up and do this thing? Can I really do this business thing? And I sat down on my sofa one night and I listed out all the ways, all my skills, all of my abilities, all of my formal education and certifications and seminar. Like, I listed everything out, right? And at the end of that exercise, it probably honestly took me like a good 45 minutes to kind of get everything out. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a wake-up call for me. Because I said, Kendra, you have put so much effort and so much time and so much energy into creating the woman that you are today. Why would you discount all of this? Why? Right? And so it, again, comes back to, there's a little bit of unworthiness tied in there too, where at the time, I didn't feel quite worthy to actually step into my power and go after what I knew was mine. But after I did that experience, after I had that experiment and did that exercise, I was like, oh, heck no. I am showing up and I am going to give my very best, and I am going to tap into all of my experiences and skills and abilities, and I am going to share that with the world. I'm going to share that with the women that I'm meant to serve, right? So step out of, let that imposter syndrome go, because it's not your truth. It's not your truth, right? You are so qualified. And here's the other thing. We can get really hung up on the fact that we need to have a piece of paper in order to feel qualified. No, you don't. No, you do not. I have 2 degrees in business, right? I have an undergrad degree in business, and my master's degree is in business with a focus on healthcare administration, right? When I went into the healthcare field, yes, I had my formal education. Yes, I had my schooling. But it's completely different. You have to really step into a new level of yourself when you start getting your hands dirty and doing the work, right? Like when I started my business, I have 2 business degrees. However, nothing that I learned in school, honestly, prepared me for what it's like to really operate, own, and grow your own business, right? I have learned more in the past almost 4 years of being in my business than I learned when I was in college. Now, I'm not discounting what I did in college. Like, that's fabulous, that's fantastic. But I've learned so much more hands-on, strategic, tactical, practical tools being a business for myself than I did when I was reading the books and writing the papers and doing the presentations, right? So a piece of paper does not always mean that, yep, I'm qualified now. You've got to get in the mindset that you were qualified, period, right? If you've got the experience behind you, if you have cultivated some skills and abilities in certain areas, that is perfect. All right, so let's move this along. So now I want to share with you a couple of ways. How many ways do I have here? Yeah, 2 methods for you to move past self-doubt. I've been sharing little nuggets with you all along, but there's 2 specific ones that I want to share with you. The first one is, and it's not going to be what you think it is. This is so funny. When I mention this to women, they're like, what? But the first one is you take some time to nurture and take care of yourself. That's it. Take some time to nurture and take care of yourself. When is the last time that you gave yourself permission to just play, let loose, and have fun? Honestly, when was the last time that you did that, right? You know, we can go through the days, the weeks, the months, and we can just go, right? We've got family to take care of. We've got a business to run. You've got a household you're taking care of. Like, you got all the things, right? And now with where we are in the world, it's like you've got this added, stressor of being in a world where things are a little bit different right now, to say the least. And we don't give ourselves space to actually come back home to ourselves. To come within, right? We can be so externally focused that we lose touch with who we are. And so I'm going to ask you to nurture yourself. Do you have a weekly or monthly self-care, self-love routine? Do you have one? Because that matters, right? When you nourish your soul, the way that you show up in your business and in your life is going to be more potent because you have given space to yourself and given time to yourself to really see yourself and honor yourself. So let me know in the comments, do you have a weekly or a monthly self-care routine? Let me know in the comments if you do. And if you do have one, I'd love to know what it is, what things do you do? One of the things that I do weekly is I take a hot Epsom salt bath like twice a week, right? I'll put some Epsom salt infused with essential oils and some bubbles in a bath. I'll light a candle and just turn the lights off and just be with myself, right? And I'll soak for, like 20 minutes or 25 minutes and just let my mind rest and go within. Sometimes I'll listen to a book, or sometimes I'll put on some relaxing music and just let myself, surrender and let myself go and not try to be anywhere else, but just right there in that moment. And so it's interesting because every time I do that, I get the most amazing inspirational hits. I get amazing ideas coming to me, new thoughts, new content, new trainings, like all the things start coming to me because I gave myself permission to slow down, right? And in doing that, I'm cultivating a relationship with myself right? And so then you begin to trust yourself more, and it's a cumulative effect. The more you do this, the more you trust yourself. The more you take time for yourself, the more you actually begin to trust that you've got this and you can do this. So create a monthly and a weekly one. I used to have another practice, which I'm not able to do now because places are closed down, but I would go to a float, a sensory deprivation tank, and I would float for like an hour to just shut out the outside world, right? So what can you do, right? When you do this, you will see that you show up differently. You're going to feel different. You're going to approach decisions differently. You're going to make decisions more quickly. You're going to develop a sense of certainty and trust within yourself. All right. The second piece, the second tip that I want to give to you is this, is to find a community. Find a community. Because here's the thing, as women in business, we cannot do this by ourselves. We can't do it by ourselves, right? That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to do this alone. We're not here to be on this journey alone. And so while you may have a spouse or some children and things like that, or a few girlfriends that you hang out with, when you're in business for yourself, you need other people to be with you in that space to understand what it is that you're moving through, what it is that you're feeling, and that can cheer you on, that can applaud you, right? Like, that is important. That's been one of the biggest, what's the word? One of the most positive things that I've done for myself in business is to put myself in a community of like-minded women, right? And if you want to be in a community, yes, I'm going to plug my own community. I'd love for you to come join us in my free Facebook group. All you got to do is go to Facebook and type in becoming unstuck and unstoppable and join the group. We would love to have you. But put yourself in a community with other like-minded women who are on the journey that you're on, who can support you, right? That is so very important. All right, so I'm going to also give you a journal prompt. Let's see, I've got two of them here. All right, so here's a journal prompt I'm going to give you around comparison that I think will really help you. And it's kind of two parts. So first part, how often do you compare yourself to others, and how can you tell? Right, that's the first part of this journal prompt. How often do you compare yourself to others, and how can you tell? And for me, like it's a feeling that I get inside when I can tell that I'm comparing myself to others. I get really anxious and antsy and feeling like, oh, look, I'm missing out on something, right? So figure out what that is for yourself. And then the second part is, how could comparing yourself to others be harmful to your own self-esteem? How could comparing yourself to others be harmful to your own self-esteem? And that question there is designed to get you really digging deeper into how we are actually harming and sabotaging ourselves when we choose to compare ourselves to others. So when you're aware of this and you know this, you can then use some of the other ideas that I've given you in this training to move yourself through it. Okay? So those are the two methods I have for you, and journal prompts that can help you move through the mindset trap of self-doubt. So now what I would love to do is, if you have any questions, I'd love for you to put them in the comments. Questions about your mindset, questions about confidence, questions about business, whatever, any questions you got, put them below. I'd love to answer them. And so while you're doing that, I want to share with you my exciting announcement that I have for you. So here really shortly, in the next few weeks, I am going to be offering a beautiful 8-week transformational journey in my online course called Break Through Your Limits. And I love this program, and it is so amazing because it helps women to really step into their confidence. It helps women to get really crystal clear clarity around their business and life. And it helps them to really harness and step into their courage of going after the big, audacious dreams that they have. And so in this 8-week course, I walk you through and support you in shifting your mindset, becoming aware of the thoughts that are not working for you, reprogramming your mind in a way to where you're thinking in a way that supports your highest good in your journey. We release the stuff that's not serving you. We forgive the people, places, and things that you're holding on to. So we do some emotional work. We do beautiful journal work to call in your reality that you desire, because you have so much power inside of you. And I show you how to tap into that to shift your reality. We're going to be talking about self-worth and confidence and how to really increase that within yourself and cultivate that in yourself. So it has not launched yet, but if you are interested in learning about it when it does come out, I'm going to drop a link in the comments and for you to just put your name on the interest list and say, hey, I'm kind of interested. Let me know when it comes out. Let me know what it's about and share information with me. You're not making a commitment to anything except that you'll be one of the first to know when this course drops, when the registration opens, all right? So I am going to leave that here in the comments for you. Ask me your questions if you have questions or interested. Your limits go here. All right, so here's the link coming to you. So all you got to do is go to that link there, and it will take you to a page where you can enter if you're interested, or so that you can get more information, okay? So I'm going to hang out for a little bit. Let me know. Actually, I'm going to put this to on my other pages. Let me know what questions you have. I'll hang out for a moment and answer your questions. There we go. It's there on my page. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with me, for commenting and showing up and engaging with me. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna put this in my group now. And if you have, if you want any support or need anything that I can support you with, just message me, right? Please message me. We can chat, have a conversation, and I'll see how I can best help you and support you, okay? So I am going to leave you with that. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you. I love you. I'm sending you my love, and I'll see you again next time. All right. Bye.